Well, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to the United Regional Chamber of Commerce's updates. We try and bring on some interesting guests and some subjects that you'd be interested in. And today we have Mim Fawcett, who is the Executive Director and Chief Curator at the Attleboro Arts Museum, that diamond in the rough that we have in the center of Attleboro. So, Mim, welcome.
Jack, I'm so happy to see you. Thank you very much for inviting me.
Well, we had couple of technical difficulties in the beginning, but we got that all squared away.
Yes, exactly.
So first off, tell us a little bit about Mim.
Well, I've been the executive director here at the museum since 2006. So it's been over 16 years that I've been in this position. And it's so interesting to look back on all the time. When I started, we had an active membership. We had a wonderful museum space, and our gallery and our membership and all of our programs have really grown since that time. We've focused a lot on community partnerships and working with individuals in Attleboro, Greater Attleboro, and beyond to listen to them and to deliver exhibitions, programs that would be of interest. So for me, telling you about me, I can say that it's been such an interesting job and so rewarding because what I like to do is what I do professionally. And I am so blessed that I get to deal with artists and students of art and those who appreciate art because all of those approaches to art and culture are very satisfying for me. And these days, I think we're all realizing how important it is to have quality of life enhancement, to see how individuals can grow creatively. And I'm very lucky to be a part of that.
Well, as another part of your title, you're a curator. Mm-hmm. Tell us what a curator is.
Yeah, it's so funny. I think that the best way to describe that is when you personally are on social media, or even let's turn back the calendar a little bit. And if you were organizing a photo album of images from a vacation, you would pick and choose what you would like to remember or where you think you might look best, or images that capture family members or certain scenes that are important to you. And ultimately, you would arrange them in a way that would be pleasing or create a narrative. And that's what curators do. Curators help to organize information, typically in spaces that tell a story or enhance the individual components of an exhibition. And what I get to do within our gallery is not only arrange all of the materials that are here, but we have freestanding walls in the exhibition space. And because they can move, I can use those moving walls to tell a story as well. So curators are working with relationships for images and kind of telling stories without being the loudest voice in the room.
I happen to be familiar with what a curator is because of my family's business. But the general public, I had a couple of people ask me, well, what is a curator? I said, well, I'm going to let Mim explain that herself.
Yeah.
But you have something very exciting coming up this weekend. Tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah, we have our annual members exhibition. So the members exhibition it's truth in advertising. You know, it is just that. We have a membership of close to 700 individuals, I guess, or entities. And they could be artists, they could be families, they could be students, they could be supporters or patrons of the museum. But our most robust category within our membership is the artist membership. And we have 411 pieces that we recently accepted to this show, that were recently submitted to this show. And they were submitted by 201 artists. Now, we sent out a call for artists, it's called, in January. And no, I'm sorry, in November. And we indicated that the member show was happening. And one special membership benefit that we have at the museum, which is really unlike other museums in the area, is that we annually run an exhibition that is not juried. So we do not have someone coming in deciding whether or not a piece can be in the gallery or not. All work, as long as it fits within the guidelines that we have, is accepted. And those guidelines are mostly due to size. You know, we want to be able to accept as much material as possible. So we asked artists to submit work that doesn't exceed 30 by 30, just so we have space for everything. So artists can submit between 1 and 3 pieces. And again, this year we collected 411 works. The concepts are open. It can be whatever the artist is interested in. It's all mediums. It's all, forms of presentation. There's 2D, there's 3D, there's work that's hanging from the ceiling, there's neon. It really is an interesting example, or a wonderful buffet of what our artists can do. And they, again, have this opportunity every year. We do bring in a guest juror who reviews the 411 pieces, and he is coming in on Friday. And that juror will be awarding prizes: Best in Show, Best Abstract, Juror's Choice. And then he will also be determining from a pool of almost 60 artists who will go on to be considered for a group show later on in the year. Artists had the opportunity to apply for that group show when they delivered their work for the member show.
Now, how often do you have individual shows?
We mount between 8 and 10 shows a year. So there's not a lot of time between the shows. I explain that to artists when we say it's important to pick up your work on time, because we have a whole other load of work that's coming in, and we are entrusted with the artwork to make sure that it's safe and gets back into the hands of the artists if it hasn't been sold. So it's very important that artists work with us so that we can safely accept all of the work and process it, curate it, display it, and then strike our exhibitions and deinstall so that we can bring in all those 8 to 10 shows through the year.
What are the hours of the museum?
The museum is typically open Tuesday through Saturday from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. There are some exceptions for special events, and we do hold classes in the evenings, but those are special programs that we run. But our hours are typically Tuesday through Saturday, 10 to 5.
Well, actually, one of my next questions is, tell us a little bit about the classes and the workshops that you offer.
Yeah, we run classes all throughout the year. And we run classes, and when I say classes, it could be a workshop, it could be a 1-day workshop, or it could be a 2-day workshop, or it could be a 10-week class. We run educational programs, I should say, all through the year for ages 5 and up. And so we'll have groups that might be, let's say, 5 to 8, 9 to 13, 14 to 17, and then we'll have adult programs. We also offer the occasional adult child program, and those are the sweetest of all, because we might have a grandparent coming in with a grandchild to create a work in clay, or we could have someone, a special aunt or an uncle who comes in, or a caretaker who works with someone together. So it's really nice to see mixed ages working together and creating. It's kind of the great equalizer.
Well, I have one granddaughter, and so I know how fun that would be, and
Yep.
how special that would be. So those folks must really enjoy that.
Yeah, it is very special. And, with a class that you take here, there are some classes just strictly in art appreciation. But for the most part, our classes are hands-on, and you end up taking something home. And so you've created a memory about that session, but then you also have this keepsake, particularly if it's a grandparent and a grandchild, that, is really special to both of them.
What's the next class or workshop that you have coming up?
Well, we are just now finishing our fall classes and then starting up in January, and you can see the range of classes that we have on our website. Starting in January, we have all of our classes listed for children, for youth, for teens, and for adults. And again, the mediums are different. It could be a class in painting, or it could be a class in illustration. It could be a class in ceramics. It could be a special workshop in mixed media. We have a really interesting class coming up that deals with collage, creating collage work based on family images. So I know some folks are excited about that because they're going back into those shoe boxes of old photos and then creating artwork out of them so that they can bring them to life again.
All right, now I'm going to step you out of the museum for a minute.
Okay.
Tell us about the flags that you had installed on the light poles
Oh,
in
yeah.
downtown Attleboro.
Yeah, we had a great program that was funded by Mass Development, tied into our TDI, Transformative Development Initiative, downtown. This was a COVID program, and it was a way to bring the art outside. It was at a period of time during COVID where there were several individuals who were very concerned early on about coming inside spaces other than their home. So we thought, okay, that's entirely reasonable. Why don't we bring the work outside? So we took images of our permanent collection and had them imprinted onto vinyl banners. And there was a number on each banner. And if you went online, you could read about each permanent collection piece that was on a light pole in the downtown area, or you could listen to an audio tour of that too. And the descriptions talked about the piece, they talked about the artist, and there were musical bumpers between, and then you went on to the next one. And it was a great way to bring the collection out during COVID and also to enhance the downtown area. So it was really a nice win all around.
Right, because people had to stroll from banner to banner, and that made them, walk around in downtown.
Right, exactly. And wherever possible, we tried to marry the imagery with a store or a business that was nearby. So for instance, my favorite was, we have a beautiful painting of these lush strawberries in a bowl. And we put that image in front of Morin's Diner, where they have this pretty much irresistible strawberry shortcake. So the tour talked about, looking at this beautiful image, noticing all the detail, and said, okay, it might be time for a break. Why don't you go into Morin's and have some of the strawberry shortcake that they have? So we were trying to work hand in hand with the downtown businesses to bring art together with commerce.
It's just another way of the collaboration that you do with a lot of the businesses and the folks here in Attleboro. Now, also outside the museum, tell us about those electric boxes.
Yeah. So this was a great project. I say, yeah, because I've been, I kind of see them when I close my eyes. We've been doing a number of them. There were 2 phases. So not this summer, but the summer before, I think it was 6. Yeah, 6 light boxes were wrapped with artwork. And the program is called Think Outside the Box. And once again, it's truth in advertising. We wanted to take a structure that was very utility based and also not that attractive, and turn it into something that people noticed and appreciated and got excited about. So the premise behind it all was that Attleboro artists, or artists who lived or worked in Attleboro, in some cases it was both, were invited to create artwork. It could have been from an existing portfolio piece or a new piece to wrap on these boxes. And the boxes, unlike in other communities, you might see this where artists have painted them. In our situation here in the city, they are wrapped with vehicle wraps. So the type of imagery, the type of production that you would see on the side of a bus or on the side of a van. This made them very vivid, easy to clean, and also long lasting. And I've been amazingly impressed with how durable they've been. We did have some unfortunately misguided souls who did put some graffiti on one of our boxes, and easily we were able to wipe it off and call it a day. So round one was 6 boxes all throughout the TDI district. Again, a partnership with Mass Development. And then this year, that was the debut year. This year we did 8 more. So there's 1 pending, and that will be happening, I'm hoping, in the spring. Because of winter, it's a little hard to do the installation outdoors. But what's really interesting about these, unlike some other cities, is that there's a QR code on the top green strip next to the wording of the program, Think Outside the Box. If you scan that QR code, you don't need an app or anything. You just need to hold your phone up to it, your camera. You will get to information that tells you all about the program, of all the utility boxes, and gives you a bio of the artist that created the work, and gives you a description from the artist about what the artwork is. And it's been probably the most popular program I have done since I've started here.
Well, it's been great, and it really enhances all around Attleboro. It's not in just downtown.
Nope.
They're located all over.
Yep.
All right, we're going to keep you outside the museum for a minute.
Okay.
Tell us what you've done over at Cudi Court.
Yeah, so that's been another great project. So I have to credit the artist, Jess Tracy, who is an Attleboro native, with her magical mind, her imagination, and her incredible painting skills. So again, not this summer, but the summer before, Cudi Court was created. And then to enhance the environment, Jess created a suite of murals that are in Cudi Court that are featuring her creatures, and we've called them Cudi Court creatures. They're basically undersea creatures. There are sharks, and there are turtles, and there are a number of other ones, but they're not typical. Like there could be a mix between a turtle and a llama that we call a turlama. And there are giant frogs who happen to have crowns on them. There just are, and snails that are doing some wacky things and just so sweet, dotting the whole courtyard. So the goal was to enhance the space, make it family, to take pictures by it, and to give that space a real personality. It was transformed into just sort of a pass-through by next to a garage, thanks to the effort of Catherine Fierick and a number of other folks in the city. And it now is beautifully paved. There are benches. There are lights. It's so much nicer, and it's a great meeting space. But again, we wanted to, in a sense, brand it or give it a personality that would be of interest to all ages. And that's where Jess and her amazing brushes stepped in. And this year we're doing phase 2. This was funded by Mass Development, and phase 2 has started. It will finish up in the spring. It has an octopus under the surface of Cudi Court, and you just see these tentacles coming up from these mysterious places.
Very cool. Very cool.
Thanks.
Well, as we start to wrap up, I'm going to bring you back into the museum for a minute.
Okay.
It is holiday Christmas time. Tell us about your gift shop.
Yeah, so starting today and running through Saturday, so December 7th through 10th, and this is from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m., we have our annual gift shop holiday extravaganza. And it is just that. So the gift shop is open all year long, but during the holidays and during our flower show event, it expands. And there are additional zones within the museum that are now occupied with products from the gift shop. Our gift shop features work from artists that are original pieces, and it also features some manufactured goods that are kind of alternative or unique products. In all cases, all of the proceeds benefit the museum or benefit the museum and the artist. So any purchase that you make is endorsing the arts. And the sale is pretty much irresistible. I always tell everybody it's quicksand. You know, once you're in there, you're not going to get out because you're going to leave with something. So it's great shopping. It is great shopping.
Well, awesome. Mim, thank you very much for taking the time coming on the show today. We hope that we can get some folks in there in that gift shop in the next couple of days and fill up the museum during your member opening.
Great.
So,
thanks a lot, Jack. Thank you.
Thank you. Folks, thank you very much for joining us again this week. We will see you again next week. A big shout out to our producer, Dave Angel, and all the team over there at AACS. They put up with me, and we really appreciate everything they do, not just for the chamber, but for what they do for the community. So Dave, everybody over there, thank you very much. Folks, have a great rest of the week. We'll see you next week.